Alrighty, answering the question, how to cook green beans. Oh, this is one recipe. You know, green beans are really, truly an American favorite classic, you know. Everybody loves them. They buy them frozen, they buy them canned, they mix them with mushroom sauce and onion rings and all kinds of stuff that we're not going to do on this particular video. But what we will do is I will show you how to blanch fresh green beans in boiling water and shock them in ice water, and a very nice simple recipe that you can make to serve them. With a couple of little options I'll mention to you that you might want to include if you want. Our basic recipe here today calls for a blanched green bean to be heated up with a little bit of onion, a little bit of tomato, with butter, salt, and pepper, and some fresh thyme or dried thyme. And that's a very nice, simple recipe, provided that you season and cook the green beans properly. Like I always say, sometimes the most difficult food to cook is the food that seems to be the easiest to prepare. That sounds a little backwards, but in this particular case, since we're not going to smother the green beans in a whole bunch of stuff per se, how well they're cooked and how well they're seasoned is probably the two most important things that will stand out about the preparation of this dish. I'm going to begin by putting some clipped green beans. And by the way, if you want to use yellow wax beans in the place of this, you can. And it'll work fine. But this recipe is specifically for green beans, of course. So I have some clipped green beans with both ends were clipped so that there's no little stray frayed pieces or dried pieces, which have a tendency to be on the ends of the beans. So I have boiling water here, which I'm going to put a little bit of salt in. Now we've got salted boiling water. So this is a classic how to blanch vegetables. Now you normally blanch them in the boiling water until there's a level of doneness that you're satisfied with for the final outcome of the preparation of the dish. Because we're just going to be reheating it a little bit after we blanch it and shock it in the ice water. So you should be cooking it to the point at which you're satisfied that it's cooked. Don't count on cooking it a whole bunch more in the second stage of this process, okay? So in goes the beans into the boiling salted water. And while they're cooking, we'll get the balance of this dish working here in a saute pan. So we're going to put a little bit of butter in this saute pan here. This recipe calls for whole unsalted butter. This is whole unsalted butter. It's just melted already. But you can just throw a half a stick of butter in here if you want to. And we're going to take a little bit of onion. And pan down on this here, please, Richard. And we're going to slice this thin. And then I'm going to slice it across one more time, just so the pieces aren't too big. You don't want the size of the green beans dwarfed by the size of the onion, of course, okay? So we'll put the onion in the saute pan. And for that amount of beans, I think we can use, we don't need any more onion for that amount of beans. Now I have some fresh thyme, and I'm glad I had an opportunity to show you some fresh thyme today because we use dried thyme in a lot of the recipes in this course. But fresh thyme is very important to understand. It, of course, is one of the more time-consuming fresh herbs to clean, unlike dill or basil, which tends to be easier. Because all you're looking for is to take these little flowers, if you will, or these little baby leaves off of the stems of the thyme leaf, or the thyme branch, I should say. Now you can throw the thyme in whole, or you can chop it a little bit. In most cases, chopping it a little bit would be preferred. You get a little bit more release of the robust flavor of the thyme because it's chopped. Such a beautifully fragrant item, and it doesn't smell very much at all like dried thyme, believe it or not. It has a really, really different fragrance to it. And I think we have enough. And Louis, can you please get me a pair of small tongs? Thank you. Okay, now let's Thank you, sir. Let's give the thyme a quick chop. And let's add the thyme to the onion. And by the way, the combination of sauteed onion with thyme, whether it be dried or fresh, is probably the, how can I best say this without putting my foot in my mouth? It's probably the most common combination of any vegetable with any herb that I can think of, or that I've ever encountered in cooking. Thyme and onions, when they're sauteed together, just have this really nice combination flavor to them. And it's something you should kind of keep in your repertoire for times when you're cooking onions for things. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of salt and pepper on the onions. And these onions are cooked about halfway. And what I'm going to do now is just going to put a pinch of water on them. Sometimes I think they're browning too fast. I want to shut the heat off a little bit and let the steam finish cooking the onions because I've browned them enough, you know? And that should evaporate. Now, the beans are boiling away here. And I think we can do this entire preparation in one single video take with no time elapsed here, as it turns out. Some of the videos in this course are like that, where they just the timing of the preparation is perfect. And in those particular cases, of course, you see real time exactly for what it takes to prepare the item, minus all the talking that I'm doing sometimes, you know. So we're going to pull a green bean out and test it for the level of doneness, and that's how you find out if it's done the way you want. This green bean is tender enough to eat right now, and I'm going to take it off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain the boiling green bean pot into a strainer. Then I'm going to take the beans, and I have a little dish of ice water here, and we'll dump the beans in the ice water. You want to get your beans submerged in the ice water. Now, why are we doing that? We're doing that for two primary reasons. The same two primary reasons that we would apply this process to just about any other vegetable that we, quote, blanch in boiling salted water. The two reasons are, number one, to cook the vegetable a little bit so it's more edible. And the shocking in the water part is to stop the cooking process, which typically retains the color of the vegetable, particularly the green veggies, you know, like broccoli and green beans. Now, by blanching them in advance too, the other beautiful advantage that you have as a cook is that you now can expeditiously or quickly finish the dish when it's time to actually serve it. So this stage right here you can complete long before someone's about to come to dinner, and then just at dinner time, pow, 3 to 5 minutes, pardon the expression, 3 to 5 minutes, and it's ready to go. I mean the pow part, you know, I didn't mean the, you know, that's becoming very popular these days. So let's, well here, let me just dump the green beans right in here too. They are nice and shocked. Nice, very nice. Okay, let's get them back out of the ice. We don't want any more ice in here than we need.